Hello, guys and gals, and this is a book review for Book 7 of the Wings of Fire series franchise. It is Winter Turning, and it is, of course, told from the perspective of Winter in the Jade Winglet. Um, the Jade Winglet has shrunk quite a bit due to things that happened in the previous book. I don't know exactly how far I'll get into that, but I do have to reveal some things in order to advance the plot. Um, After what happened in the last book, um, Winter is on the lookout for his brother Hailstorm, that was kidnapped by the Skywings during the Great War, the War of Sandwing Succession, I believe it was, and because that went on for like 20 years. So yeah, and so yeah. Um, Even though the arc usually this particular arc centers around the Jade Mountain Academy, this most of this story takes place outside of Jade Mountain, usually with the remaining members of the Jade Winglet, minus Turtle. I think Turtle stayed behind, but I think that everybody else went to find see if they could find Hailstorm. I think that was his name. Yeah. Anyways, they all find out that that Moon can read minds, but they also know that the meteorite fragments can block her mind reading powers. So there's that. So just within the group of them, they all take a meteorite piece so that um, Moon can't read their mind, accidentally or anything like that. This also means that Moonwatcher is away from the voice that she hears at the Jade Mountain. So, turns out that the meteorite that spawned all these different little shards also caused an earthquake, and that is a sizable thing. And so yeah, but yeah, um, Icicle, who is Winter's sister, was tasked by an old enemy to get vengeance on the Dragonettes of Destiny. But she was foiled, and so yeah. But Winter knows that Hailstorm is still alive. So it's up to him to basically find him. So this book was a little strange, in a good way, I would say. Winter is a very well written character. The book is entirely written, well, first of all, Winter's character is kind of a lot like Vegeta from Dragon Ball, or from the Dragon Ball franchise. After he befriends Goku and he isn't trying to destroy planets and stuff like that. But Winter and Vegeta, they both kind of share like a personality, a chilly personality. And anyone who's watched Dragon Ball, or even the later iterations of Dragon Ball, like Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball GT or Dragon Ball Super, you probably know what I mean when I'm saying, when I say that Vegeta has kind of an icy personality, and that seems to fit Winter very well. But him and Quibbly, they seem to get along real well, even though they have kind of conflicting. They have kind of conflicting personalities, kind of like how Goku gets along really well with Vegeta. And I can actually see aspects of Goku in Quibbly. So maybe it's in another universe they might have been Goku and Vegeta. Um, So yeah, it's hard to it's really hard to know exactly what to say without it being a spoiler. Because I want my reviews to not contain any spoilers, so people will, read the books. But yeah, first Winter was going to go out on his own, in order to try to track down this old enemy that seems to have a beef, a conflict with the original Dragonets of Destiny. And so yeah. Anyways, there's also another dragon that is helping this old enemy. And this particular dragon kind of has their talons in a lot of different pies. In other words, they help out a lot of different people, basically just offering out their services for basically wealth because they're a greedy dragon. But we get more into that in the next book, book 8. So, anyways, a lot happens in this book also. Some rather sizable things, really. I will say that it's really, really hard to say because I thought I'd figured out how I wanted to phrase this. So, anyways, and in their journeys, they do come across the Talons of Peace. Now, the Talons of Peace, if you remember from the original arc, were basically outcast dragons that were just basically trying to make the prophecy come true, and they basically left their own tribes in order to, seek peaceful ways of resolving the war. The Talons of Peace are still around, even though after the War of Sandwing Succession, most of them were offered, clemency, or how can I say this? They were allowed to return home because the war was over. But a lot of them didn't. They basically just stayed in their own little corner of the world because they still had a lot of enemies around. The ones that were still alive, because we know that Dune was killed. Kestrel was killed. Webbs was the only guardian of the Dragons of Destiny that's still alive. In fact, he teaches history at the Jade Mountain Academy. Moroseer's dead. So yeah. Also, I noticed a trend. Let me see if I can say that yet. Actually, I can't say that yet. I noticed something about the trend of things that were happening with the different tribes' queens. It's not set in stone, but once Scarlet was presumed dead, she basically vanished after Glory, did her whole venom spit on her face, and so Scarlet vanished. After that, then a younger queen took over named Ruby, and that really isn't a spoiler, because it is mentioned quite a few times, and it basically threw the Sky Kingdom into upheaval because there are still some dragons that would follow Scarlet if she ever reappeared. And of course, Queen Battlewinner of the Nightwings was killed also because she basically couldn't move very well because she basically lived in a big old vat of lava because some ice wing breathed ice breath into her mouth and it threatened to turn her to ice unless she bathed in lava, which was kind of interesting. So Glory is the new queen of the Nightwings. But that's nothing new if you've read the first 5 books. So the trend is that the queens are getting younger. Also, the three Sandwing sisters all basically either gave up attempts for the throne or were defeated in the fifth book. So Queen Thorn took over, and she was quite a bit younger than any of the Sandwing sisters. So what we have is a younger generation, basically, of queens taking over the different tribes. And that actually, we learn more about that in book 14, I want to say, which it's a really good book. It's probably one of my favorites. Is book 14. But this is book 8, I believe. No, wait, 7. This is book 7. So yeah, this is all about Winter and his hunt for his brother. Now, in the prologue of the book, I know I'm doing this out of sequence. In the prologue of the book, we do learn about how Hailstorm was taken, how Hailstorm sacrificed himself to save Winter's life, and Winter was kind of not seen as very popular after that happened, because Hailstorm was like, way up there in terms of the rankings, and everybody loved Hailstorm, but nobody really liked Winter, and so yeah. So, anyways, so Winter wants to do everything in his power to save Hailstorm. So they set out, and yeah, how can I put this? Give me just a sec. Okay, so without spoiling anything, let's just say, to make it easier to write this, the Jade Winglet went from 7 members, I want to say, down to 5, and then down to 4, I want to say. Something like that. Yeah, I think it was down to 4. At least for the time being. That's the way I'm going to put that. It's really an interesting book. And anyone who has read the book will know exactly why it is an interesting book. But eventually, Winter does break away from the rest of the Jade Winglet to go back to the Ice Kingdom. Now, he has to break away from the Winglet because, well, there's this giant ice cliff that one of the Icewing Animus dragons made that basically unalives any dragon that isn't part Icewing. So you can't really invite your friends over. Now, there was an exception to this because one of the Animus dragons did make 3 bracelets that dragons could wear, and then the ice barrier wouldn't zap them. But yeah, not the most friendly thing in the world. But the Icewings kind of have a chilly reception when it comes to other tribes, and that goes back to 2,000 years ago. And we'll get into that when I actually review Darkstalker, the book Darkstalker, which is basically the history of Darkstalker, aka Prince Arctic and Foe Slayer. But anyways, that is a different story for a different video. But yeah, so yeah, Winter eventually breaks away, and so yeah, that is going to be as far as I can actually go in this review without giving away anything. That is really, really pressing. But yeah, I think this was really very well written. kind of funny because the dialogue is like, you can just picture Vegeta saying it, and you'd be like, oh yeah, that would be something Vegeta would say. But yeah, this was a very well written book, as are all the other books in the Wings of Fire series. I think it got to the point where I was reading through one of these a week. It would take me about 2 days to read one of these, really. But then I would take a break in between so I could mentally digest. And then there was one book that I read, and I'll probably get into that book eventually, where I was just like, whoa, I gotta take a week off because a lot happened in that book. But yeah. So, and we're getting to that point too. But anyways, this is this was a really fun read, and I really again, if you don't like words, or don't want to read the whole book, there's the graphic novel version that is very well adapted. So yeah. Anyways, but yeah, that is going to do it for this video, actually. If you like this content, make sure you like and subscribe, ring the bell so you know when I upload. Also, if you want to support me in any way, or if you want to join the Discord server, all the information will be in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching, everyone. You are loved, and have a great day.